and they do deserve First Amendment rights. I do believe they should have a voice even on TV.
Right.
But do you think that on a network, any cable news network that calls himself a news network, they should maybe devote more of that time to actually reporting stories that we frequently miss out on? And I mean, perhaps one idea would be to have a separate news channel solely for opinion shows.
Right. A lot of questions, and they're all good and valid. A couple things. One, DL Hughley is no longer on the air. Just throwing that out there. His show has, I think, been taken off, although he's staying at CNN. I think, first of all, not to sound like a complete stooge of CNN, but I really do believe CNN spends a huge amount of time reporting and devotes a huge amount of resources. I mean, if you look at all the three cable networks in terms of percentage of time spent actually telling in stories that are reported by people, a poll just came out. CNN is far and away spending most time doing these packages and having people out in fields, and we've opened up new bureaus when most people are closing down bureaus. I will also say that CNN has multiple. What you see is CNN. You probably, if you watch it at all, is CNN America Domestic. We also have CNN International, which is nothing but international stories. CNN Espanol. There's the online presence. I believe that people have access to more information and have the capabilities of learning about anything they want to learn about if they want to seek it out. I think I'd be curious to know, when was the last time you watched like a broadcast network or a cable network? Did you watch any stuff? No. So, see, the problem is, because a lot of times people say this, but they're not actually watching. And so if you're not watching, no one in these companies really is going to pay much attention to you. What they pay attention to is who's actually watching and what these people are watching. And so if what people are watching are crime shows or people who are doing news shows about crime, then the executives are going to see this and see, well, that's where all the eyeballs are, so we're going to do more of that. And so there's many people who will say, well, I wish there was more hard news. And frankly, 98% of what I do on any given night is hard news. But unless people watch that, if everyone's gravitating toward the missing blonde of the week, then that's what you're going to get more of. And that's frankly the situation. So it's always interesting. I get a lot of questions often from viewers, saying, well, you should do more of this because it's good for us, or I think it's important that people know more about what's happening in Iraq. I fully agree, but unless people actually want to see those stories, they're not going to get told. And so it's what people say they want to see is often very different than what people end up watching. And so you may want to see these stories, but you're not watching, and you're watching. You're getting, and maybe that's because they're not on. Maybe it's a vicious cycle. But I can tell you, unless there is a evidence, it becomes hard that there's a market for this. It becomes harder and harder to justify expending huge amounts of money to tell these stories if people aren't watching it.